Hey, Stampin' Up by Sherry Borger. This is going on YouTube, so I have some people that do alternatives with the paper pumpkin kits that we get. I'm doing the alternative for the April change is Beautiful Paper Pumpkin 2022 set actually. So this is basically for my gals that do my camps, but it's you can get some great ideas, and I'm going to show how to assemble them is what I'm going to do. So here is what I made with the 3 cards from the kit. The top 2 cards were made from 1 card. The middle 3 cards, 2 of the cards were from 1 of the cards. 1 card is also from 1 card, but I used both halves to make that card. The third row is Call My Night and Day, and that's 1 card split into half. So you can make more than just 2 cards per. But this is what I've done. So let's get started. Let's get started with the first one. Okay, first one is this one here. All right. So it's these are all trifold cards. So you can cut them into as many pieces, but let's just go with the basics. You can do 2 if you cut it into 2, or you can cut it into 3 pieces and go with the basics. Make 3 cards out of that if you really wanted. I made 2, so let's go through them. This particular set, on the back of the sheet, here are the coordinating colors: Balmy Blue, Bermuda Bay, Crushed Curry, Granny Apple Green, and Melon Mambo. And I've used all those colors in these with these sets. So let's just go through them. And this is my second or third take on making this video, so I've got pieces from my other takes that I made on this. So the first card, I'm going to take this half here that has the 1 flower, but you're going to have cutouts in the kit with this bigger pink flower, so we're going to add that on. I have used the Bermuda Bay for the backdrop color. All except one of my cards is using, well, no, 2 of my cards. Most of my cards are using white cardstock. I really like this set because of the bold, bright colors. White cardstock works very well as your main card, your base card. And so the everything is a 1/4 inch in for all my layers, okay? So a 1/4 inch in on both sides is going to be the Bermuda Bay, and then on top is going to be this card. So because it's going to be 3 3/4 by 4, I didn't print off another instruction sheet because I'm running low on ink. So 3 3/4 on the short side by 5. 3 3/4 by 5, okay? And so then this would be 4 by 5 1/4 is your Bermuda Bay color, okay? Simple. Put them flush and flush adhesive, with your adhesive. Then your big flower is going to be put with dimensionals. You're going to tuck one of the yellow big flowers and one of the small yellow flowers from the cutouts that you have in the kit. I used 3 rhinestones. I was trying to preserve the gems that come in the kit, so I had rhinestones in my own supply. And then I used the Bermuda Bay and found a stamp that just said "Hello Friend," and I have a rectangle die cut and cut around that. So that is that one. Simple enough. So if you're getting this because you're watching this because of my class, you're in my class, so you will have a picture of this with your instruction sheet. So let me show you. Here is the there you go. So here's the one card that I just showed you, and now we're going to go to the next card, but I need to transition back out so you can get to the main table. Okay, back to the main table. And so now we're taking this second half, and this, because it's trifold, see, so this flower is one cut, this is one cut as well. All right, so I am taking white cardstock for my base, then I'm layering it with Granny Apple Green, and you see this next layer is a marbled color. That is the inside of one of the envelopes. It marbles all of those three greens, the Granny Apple, the Bermuda Bay, and the Evergreen color, all three. So that's perfect. And you cut in off from the bigger half of the envelope, the inside bigger half, you're going to cut your next layer, and that is going to be, of course, the, what did I say? Oh my gosh, I don't have my instruction sheet, like I said. It is going to be 5 by 5 by 3 3/4. Oh my. Okay, then I cut down my 2 buds, 2 1/4 by 2 1/4 square around each one bud, and then one leaf. Okay, and so you're going to stack together before you put on the white. Before you put it on the white base, you're going to stack together your Granny Apple Green, your envelope in pattern on top, and then you're going to stack your 2 squares over to the left side. Leave a little bit of a border over to the left side. Once you've got them all stacked, you're going to want to put a ribbon that's going, well, I've supplied the ribbon, that's going in between the 2, because there's a little bit of space there. You're going to put that ribbon in between the 2 squares. One of the things you can do is you can put a little bit of adhesive on the ribbon itself, stick it to the back of the Granny Apple Green, and leave your ribbon flopped, folded, unfolded, and then take all of what you have stacked, put adhesive, and then put it on your white card base. Now what that does is that gives you some stability, so when you go to tie your ribbon, you can do that. But what I also do as a little extra measure is I put a little bit of adhesive somewhere around here, so I can put down my ribbon, because we're using one hand, and then I can just keep a little bit more balance there, and then I knot my ribbon. So then something kind of cool that I figured out, which I'm sure somebody else has already done this and I'm just behind on the game, is so I took 3. You take 3 of your sequins if you have my supplies. Take 3 of your sequins, and then you're going to take 3 of your rhinestones. You put the rhinestone inside a sequin, and then you take that, because they all have adhesive backs, and then you take that sequin and you put 3 of them on your card. Now when you look at it, it's hard to tell in here, but when you look at it real close in person, they look like little flowers there. So I'm patting myself on the back on that one. I'm pretty happy about that. So let's go to the next one. Let's keep on moving. All right, here we go. Here's the next card. This is where I've taken the card and made it into 2 cards. We're going to go through that first, then we're going to go into how I made a different card with the same supplies. Okay, so now we are looking at these 2 cards, okay? And it comes with like this. Let me line it up right. Comes like that, right? And I cut it in half. All right. So this is going to be 1 card, and this will be another card. This one will be the easiest one to go through first. White cardstock base. Then you have balmy blue, 1/4 inch in. Then this is going to be another 1/4 inch in. What I did is I stamped the butterflies. I just took the Melon Mambo. Melon Mambo is the color that comes with the card kit. With the kit, you can use anything you have in your personal supplies for other options. So I put 3 butterflies around, and then I put my big cutout butterfly over to the edge, and then I put my sentiment over this way. Now when you look at it, it's got 3 flying birds in there, and I just didn't want flying birds with my butterflies. I wanted my butterflies to shine on their own, so that's why I covered the birds up. So if that's what you want to do too, you can switch it around. You can put your butterfly over there and cut it and cover it up. One thing I did to make it pop, and it's hard to tell in the video, is I used this Wink Stella, and it's brushed glitter basically. So you squeeze out your glitter a little bit, and then you spread it around where you want it on your card, whatever you want to call it. Because I haven't used this in a while, I squeezed out a ton, and so I basically have this entire butterfly covered with the glitter because I had so much on there. And but if you want to be real more precise and just outline certain things, you can do that as well. This one here, you might wonder, how in the world did I get that? I was just going through all of my die cuts and seeing what I had, and look what I discovered. I had this die cut, which was the Shooting Star die cut from a few years back, and look, it had a star. Well, is it really called Shooting Star? It's called Sliding Star, but there's a Shooting Star. So I used that, and that's what I did my sentiment on, and put it on here with that. And these are actually the gems that come with the kit. They're more rectangle and square, and they're more pearlish, so they go real well with that Wink Stella. That one's easy enough. So this one is your next one. Easy enough as well. You use white cardstock for your main base, Melon Mambo for the next one in, and then this one is your next one down. So it's going to be cut down to fit. But I wanted I cut off mainly off of the top here, so I would have my chrysalis towards the top as if it was hanging from a tree. I don't know, that's what I thought. So that's why I cut mainly the top part off to fit on my Melon Mambo. And then of course you're going to you're going to use your caterpillar, and I used yellow. I had yellow whatever those are called. I'll think of them in a minute. Sequins. Use yellow sequins. Now something you can do if you don't want, if you're going to put this down, because there is a fold there because it was originally a trifold, and let's say you want to kind of just hide that fold a little bit, this is what you can do. I found this on someone else that demonstrated this. So I totally appreciate everyone's ideas because I tried it. I found a white a butterfly folder. I put my piece inside and I put it through my cut and emboss machine, Stampin' Cut machine. And so then what it does is it kind of conceals that seam. You don't even really see the seam. And so I got butterflies in here. One thing to remember or think about is that you want your pattern, you want your butterflies to go indent down. Because if they indent up, what happens is the surface it looks like it was rubbed. It has more of a white rubbed off look when you do it the other way around. So that's something to consider. That is how I did that. Okay, so now think of my what I did on the center. I did it again with this one. So you might wonder why I couldn't make 2 cards out of this, and I'm going to show you. So here are your 2 pieces. Now these cards are meant so when you do them, you're going to have your card is going to be like this, and you're going to have it all decorated up, right? But what you could do is on this side, here's the back side, you could, if you wanted, write your note or whatever you want on your card. Or you could use this and use it and put your address to who it's going to go and put it in a clear sleeved envelope and send it that way. I've never tried it. Some people have. This is what I did. I found somebody else had shown this and I'm going with it. So you can take and you have your rainbowed let's see if I can get it to look just a little, you can see a little better with the picture. I think you can. So here you go. You can see this. You have the rainbow around it, right? And that's the rainbow of this one side of this card. All right, that's going to be the outer side, outer edge of the card. You won't even need to have a cardstock. You can do it right on to the white card base. Okay, so now let's get back to what we were doing. You do the same thing, run it through the machine to get that pattern look and get that seam out if you want. You don't have to, but you are going to have to cut this down a little bit more so you have a fairly good edge around your piece here. So you're going to have, I cut it down more, so more on the top. I believe I did. You cut more on the sides. I don't think I cut any more off the bottom. I put sequins for my middle of my flowers. I used the butterfly again. I put Wink of Stella on it, but not quite so prominently. And then I put my caterpillar, and then I put a sentiment. A thing you can do with that that I found is because your surface is not flush surface, you need something gooey and sticky so this can stay on there. And because I'm not one to use a lot of glue, so what I did is I took glue dots because they're gooey and sticky, and then I stacked 2 on top of each other and put them in 3 different places underneath this label or the sentiment, and then I put it on the surface of the card, and it is staying very good. You could use dimensionals. Sometimes they don't always stick into places like you want them to. I will say that. So we have, let's see, we are rocking and rolling. Let's get to our last set of cards. My night and day cards. So half of the card is the very bright card. The other half is the night card. And let's get to my table and go through them. So here is the card in one piece. The one side is what I'm going to call my day side, and here's the back side of the other side, which is the moon. So when it's folded, you know, it's quite pretty. So it's using the moon is yellow, but the stars are in blue skies. So you can definitely use it. The card I came up with is quite similar in concept, okay? So this one, we're going to go with the day one first. The sun in here is, I wanted it to pop out, and I saw another demonstrator show this. She took another circle, and she put dimensionals underneath it and gave it some dimension. Her process was a little different. I used an easier process for me, and I just cut my circle with crushed curry, and then what I did is I took Whisper White and a sponge dauber and went around the edge to make a cloud, make it look like it's in the clouds, is what I did. My circle is quite large. I didn't have a smaller one. I think this is 2 1/4. Definitely could use a smaller one. Gives you a little bit more sky to work with if it was smaller. That was the only difference, but I went with what I had. So my butterflies, I use these die cut butterflies because what you could do, you could use the butterfly in here and it would work real well. The thing is I to fussy cut, I can't fussy cut, so that's why I did the die cut butterfly instead. Fussy cutting is just not going to work for me, and there isn't a die cut to go around this particular butterfly. So what you could do if you did use the stamp is then you're going to take the butterfly and you're going to take the 1/2 of the butterfly. If you wanted, you could take like a sticky note and cover half of it, or you could just gauge it and you take it and you dip it in one color, and then you flip it around and you dip the bottom side in another color, so you have 2 colors. And then you know, because you want your butterflies to have dimension, that's why you're going to stamp it on a different piece of paper, fussy cut, and then put it in your on your thing. You could definitely stamp right on. That would be fine too. So I did my die cut instead, and then I used a dauber, and I used Melon Mambo for the top side on this one, Granny Apple Green for the bottom. The other one I did the Balmy Blue, and then Melon Mambo for the bottom. I used 3 pearls to put in the middle of my butterflies just to give them something, some dimension, but it would be fine without. It would look really cool even without. So you're using the sky, and you do have to cut it down just a tad, but because I used the Balmy Blue cardstock for my solid card, I'm not doing another layer, solid color cardstock as a layer. This is my next layer. So my sky is flush to the Balmy Blue card base. Then you're putting your sun in the middle in dimensionals. I use the regular dimensionals for that. I use the mini dimensionals for my butterflies because they fit just perfectly in the middle, and they don't come out from behind to one it did, one it didn't, and I tucked one over and one under. Then I took the clouds. The clouds are, well, you can see it in this one. The clouds are black and grayish, but on the back side of the cloud, it's just plain white. So on these clouds, I took balmy blue, and I took a sponge and I sponge daubed it, and made 2 balmy blue clouds. And there, I used the mini dimensionals on those, and I got them around my sun. And then I have this tag, and I hand made this. It's 3/4 of an inch, and then I went, I think, 2.5 long, and then I punched the banner part on the end, or you can hand snip your banner part. So now you have this polka dot. Now the polka dot is the inside of an envelope, and so I just cut 3/4 by 3/4 square, and it went behind here. And then I put a little extra. I put some, I took some twine, some gold twine, made a bow, and then I tucked it underneath, okay? So that was that card. So that turned out really nice. And you can use any butterfly. That's what I end up using. So here's this last one. I did use the black as my card base on this, just because it does make the whole scene look a little better. All right, so then you're using crushed curry for your next layer, and then you have your black sky with your moon, right? So what you're doing is everything is punched out. You punch out your little stars, and you're going to punch out your moon. When you get all of them done, everything here that's these little yellows, that's the punched out star, except for this one. This one here is actually one of the pop outs, or the, what do you want to call them, the cutout punch outs that you get in the kit. There's some little yellow stars, so you can have your shooting stars. Okay, so now just a little something I did. You see the inside of your moon? You see how there's yellow stars? So the inside of one of the envelopes is yellow stars. So I cut a piece to go behind my moon, and I was a little particular. I wanted to for sure get 2, maybe 3 of the stars to show, so I put my yellow behind the moon to position it, but you need to make sure it's cut enough so it doesn't pop through these other stars, okay? And then what I did is I had my stars that I wanted to show, and I had my moon ready, and I put adhesive on the bottom side, of the edges of the moon, so that way when I went down, I could just go take this, go right over where I wanted it, and once I pressed down, it stuck to the adhesive dots. So that's how I did that, okay? Very simple. Then I took one of the clouds as is and put it underneath my moon. And like I said, I put one of the yellow stars and put it on the top. Now, because you're cutting this down, this surface down, you have to be careful, because it's going to be, what are the dimensions? It's going to be 3 3/4, right? And then it's going to be about 5. But because you have these stars, you have to kind of be careful, because the stars could get cut, which happened down here. This yellow star down here got cut right on the edge. So, and it's tricky because then you've got this star up here. See how that's on the edge? So either way, you're going to be on the edge of either this top star or the bottom star when you're cutting. But just kind of watch when you're going to cut, so it doesn't cut through a star. If it does, I mean, not the end of the world. You figure it out. And then I found this die cut hugs from wasn't Stampin' Up, it was from someone else. But you do glue that on. At least I did. Yeah, I think you're going to have to glue. And I'm not a fan of gluing because it's hard for me. But if you go over and you get glue a little over, then you use that, what is it, eraser. You use this eraser and then you rub off the glue. Okay? So this is my, yep, I showed them here. This is my set, and I made an entire mess. But I was able to take each of the cards, put them into two. So with 3 cards, you've made 6, and then you do that. You triple that. So that's what, 18 cards. So you can make 18 cards out of the kit if you really wanted to, or if you wanted this one here and make this into 1 card. So then you decrease the 18 by 3, so it'd be 15 cards. If I'm doing that right. Maybe, I think. Yeah. So I hope you enjoy making the cards. Again, if you are in any of my classes, I provide you the supplies, and I also provide the instruction sheets. Keep the instruction sheets always, because the instruction sheets have pictures of the cards. So even if you don't have any of the kit pieces anymore, you have pictures of cards and you can use them as ideas for making other cards. I always encourage you to do that. Always look for any sequins, any gems that are in clearance on StampinUp.com, because they usually are a good deal. There is a shipping charge, but I really like Stampin' Up! Products. The adhesive behind them is so much better than you get at Michael's or Joann's, and I enjoy it. Even though I do go to Michael's and Joann's, the majority of my supplies are from StampinUp.com, especially the cardstock. It's so much thicker. Your cards don't fall apart when you open them up because you have thick cardstock. And everyone enjoys getting cards. Send cards. People enjoy it. So that's my little tag for today. If you're interested in anything, just message me. If something isn't explained well, let me know. And I usually, with my group, we do also go on Zoom, even though I do these videos, so that way they know ahead of time what to expect, how to assemble the card. We also go on Zoom and we talk it through as well. It just is a way to get together with people that enjoy the same craft. So enjoy the rest of your day.